So what we've done now is basically one module that inputs just general data, text data, and numeric data. We've also inputted image data. What if we want to update a table? So we've updated it with an image, but what if we update with other kinds of information? So if you look at SQL example extract.py, this has an example of how you do that with numeric input, for instance. Again, you import SQLite in this case. And this is just going to be hard-coded, just to give you a good example. So let's say we want to get ID number 4. The price this time is going to be 62,300. So that's going to be an updated price for a specific data input. So again, we go ahead and open it, this time using the with command, so similar to the try and except clause, but we use, in this case, the with command. So we'll go ahead and read the database in, so test.db. So con equals light.connect. So we connect to the database in line 23. We then get it in line 29, the cursor, which gets the cursor that's going to allow us to input the data. And then we execute the SQL command. So again, following the same pattern as we did before. This time, we're going to use the SQL command called update to basically change the information. So update which table? The table called cars, and we'll say set. So that means set or make. The price equals question mark. Question mark here means a kind of input, just like we did with image. So anytime you input information, you use question mark. I should have said that in the previous example, but nonetheless, the same thing here is basically use the question mark for when you want to input something. And then also, if you don't know necessarily the ID, or it's going to be input data that you give in terms of the ID, you could also put question mark. So anytime you have input going into the database, the SQL database, using SQLite, you want to give it a question mark in terms of the text that you give it. But then here you see you have actual brackets which allow you then to put the real values you will input. So you will see the first value, U price, will be the price, so the question mark in relation to here in line 33. So the first value, U price, will be set to the price effectively. And then UID will be set to the ID. So the order in which you have the question marks is the same as the order in which you have the input values go in terms of the Python input values. And so if I hover over them, you can see what the values are, again, just to remind yourself. So 62,300, and then 4. So that will be set for the ID and price, okay, or I should say price and ID respectively, okay. And then you simply commit. So using the update command, we've sent in the update, then we commit the update, and then we should see an output again. So we get the number of rows updated. It'll tell us how many rows were actually updated using the row counts output, which will tell us basically what's been changed. And then we can select all the cars, and we can fetch them again to see how the values look now based on our most recent update to the database. So we run it, and we should see that basically the 7th value has a value of where ID equals 4 rather, the 4th value should have something 62,300. So you should see now this value 62,300. And incidentally, if you remember the Hummer we updated previously, you can see the image that's now inserted. It's basically a buffered data, which is effectively the image binary data that we've sent in to the database. So you can see now the new updated value of our 4th input, which is the Volvo, I guess. And we've also now updated the Hummer from the previous example. So you can see both those have been changed.